Hey everyone, give me just a second while everybody hops on. Just want to make sure all my connections are connecting correctly. And if you can see and hear me okay, please drop a quick hi in the comments so I know we are good to go. I'm just going to double check some things here. All right. Hey everyone. I am Maria Slebo, founder of Tech Savvy Nurse Beyond Bedside Skills. I am an award-winning nurse with over 20 years in IT and more than a decade at the bedside. So I've actually lived in both worlds. And now I help nurses build real tech confidence so that they can step into non-bedside opportunities or be more comfortable with their bedside career as it is without feeling overwhelmed or behind. And here is what I've learned watching smart healthcare professionals struggle with these tools. It was never about their ability. Most of us were never actually taught all of this. So we were just expected to know it. Now, a couple of things before we dive in, okay? This is live, but don't worry if you can't stay. There will be a replay in my Facebook community, Nurses Beyond Bedside, Nurses Leveling Up. So, what I want you to know is that no question is too basic. So if you're wondering how to do something or what something does, please ask, because if you're asking, someone else probably has that same question. So no question is too basic, and I really do want to support you all. So real quick, I want to hear from you. Drop one word in the comment for how you feel about Excel. Just one word. Love it, hate it, scared of it, want to crush your computer. I mean, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. And I'll be watching the comments, and I'll be coming back here for, checking those comments later. So here's one thing about tonight, okay? We just wrapped up the 4th of July. Happy birthday to America. And I've been thinking about a lot of different things. Now, we got just under, 6 months left of the year. And there really is no better time to hit like a reset, right, than right now. It's kind of like January all over again, right? When you come back from, the winter and the holidays and you say, okay, we're going to start fresh and we're going to do this. So here is your time to hit reset. And so for the next 4 Mondays, I am going to go live every week, obviously. And we're going to go back to the beginning, okay? One program at a time. So here's the plan. Tonight, we're going to cover Excel. Next Monday, the 13th, we'll cover Word. And then on the 20th, we'll cover Outlook. And then on the 27th, we'll cover PowerPoint. So same idea every week. We just start from zero, okay? So we're getting back to basics. Because if you don't have the basics, then you struggle as you try to build upon those skills. So we're trying to get you back to basics so you can build upon those basic skills so you can be more tech confident as you're working with your documents or your Excel spreadsheets or your PowerPoint or managing your email. So, all right, so tonight we're not going to touch anything specific in Excel. We're actually going to start really basic. We're going to cover the ribbon, okay? And the ribbon is that top part at the top of your screen when you open up Excel. And most of us, we've been clicking around saying, all right, where is that button? Is it in this one or was it in that? So we're going to cover what is in the Excel ribbon tonight. And then once you really get your skills or your knowledge of the ribbon and what's in the ribbon, you'll be able to use that when you go from Microsoft Word to PowerPoint to Outlook, because you'll have a basic understanding of what you'll find in kind of every situation, if you will, when you're looking in those applications. So let me first open up my Excel and get a basic Excel spreadsheet. I'm not going to have anything on it. And then let me share my screen. Let me just move this over here. Let me share my screen. All right, and I just want to double check that my Excel is coming up for you, and it is. Perfect. Okay, so this is my Excel. It's just a blank document, right? So on the top is where you will see the ribbon, and this is the ribbon that I speak of, okay? And these words across the top, file, home, insert, draw, page layout, formula, these are different tabs within Excel. And on each tab has a specific set of groupings, we'll call them. And within those groupings are yet another subset, okay? So let me just move this out of my way, trying to make sure that I don't forget anything. So I have my notes here just to make sure that I cover everything that I want to cover. So I just want to make sure I can still see my notes. Okay, so we have home. We have, oh, that's the wrong one. We have home. We have insert, and you'll see my ribbon changes. I now have different options. I have draw, where you'll see even more options. Page layout, formula, data, review, view, automate, help, and for me, I have Acrobat. Now, this you probably won't have, but I have Acrobat because I have a full version of Adobe Acrobat, so that's a plugin for me. So you may or may not have that. Now, on each one of these, again, these are my tabs: home, insert, draw, page layout. And then what you'll see is, the buttons underneath each one change based on whichever tab I click on. Now, if I go back to home and I show you that, we have clipboard, this is kind of a grouping that we'll call it. And we'll call them like a group cluster. How's that? In the clipboard, you'll see paste, you'll see scissors, which is cut, and you'll see two copies or two papers, if you will, and that is to copy something. And then, of course, my format painter, which I talked about a few weeks back. And then you have font, you have alignment, you have number, you have styles, cells, editing, add-ins, a whole slew of things just on this home ribbon button, right? Home tab. Now, on the insert tab, you'll see that now you have tables, and then you have controls, you have charts, spark lines, filters, links, comments, text, symbols. I mean, it goes on. And then if you were to go to page layout, the same thing. You have themes, page setup, scale to fit, all of these options. So if I say I want you to change the font color to blue instead of the default of black, you're going to think, okay, where can I find that? That's on the home page. And I'm going to tell you, probably about 90% of your time, you'll be on the home tab. Okay. There may be occasions where you need to go to the view tab or to the data tab or maybe to the page layout because you want to make sure that everything's fitting on your page or you have your page set up just right. So if you go to print the document and actually prints correctly. So yeah, you may be on these other tabs, but 90% of the time you are probably going to be on the home tab. So this home tab has a lot of information that allows you to manage your document. Okay. Now, let me just make sure that I covered everything, and I did, it looks like. Now, in my Excel spreadsheet, you now have the status or the formula bar, and then you have your cells underneath, whether they're in a column, which is A, B, C, D, and it keeps going, or they are in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down. Now, if I say I want column, G2 to be outlined, but I want the background to be blue and the font color to be white, are you going to know how to do it? Well, you may or may not. So this is how I'm going to show you. So I said G2, right? So I'm in G, row 2, and you can always double check right here, and it will tell you what cell your cursor, which is my mouse, wherever I click, that is where I am in the document. And you can always double check by looking here. Now, let's say, like I said, I want this to be colored blue with white font, okay? So I'll just type hello, right? I'm going to select it again because I just want this cell to be changed. And if I click on the little paint bucket here, you'll see the little pop-up that says fill color. With this, oh, it doesn't look like my fill color is showing on the screen. When you click on the little down arrow, let me try resharing. One moment. Sorry about that. And let me move this over here. And if I share my entire screen, and I think it's this one, it should be my Excel. It is perfect. So this is my Excel document. So when I click on, there we go. When I click on the little down arrow, it shows you the pop-up box of what colors are available. Now, let's say I don't like these colors and I want to select something more specific. I can do that by clicking on more colors. And that allows you to kind of see this whole spectrum. I can also even be more specific and say, I want to click on this slide bar, right? And I want, this particular blue to be my blue. And I can click OK. Now you can see that black really doesn't show well. It's not very good. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see. There we go. Make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see. The black doesn't really show up well on this color blue. So I want the font color to be red. So for that, I'm going to select where it says A. You'll see that it says font color. When I click on that, I can select white. And then you'll see that it changes that. So the font color is the letter A, and the background color is the paint bucket. Now let's say I wanted this cell to be outlined. I want it to have an outline around it. You could do that right here, right next to where it says the border. Right now it only has a bottom border, but let's say I want it all the way around everything, right? I want it around the whole box. I can say all borders, and I can just click on it. I can say I just want a thick border on the outside, and you're going to see that it shows a little bit thicker. It's hard to see on this particular screen, but I can change the width of the style of the line on when I click, and then I go down to line style. I can say I want it more black. And you can see it just barely does it come out. And I'm just showing you here on these other cells next to it that it's really hard to show here. But if I were to say make it a double line, and I can do that as well here, I can make it a double line and draw it. And again, unfortunately, when you project it, it doesn't show up as well, especially in a screen share. But this is how you would change things in Excel. It would be a simple of selecting the cell that you want, and I'm going to hit escape on my keyboard so I can get out of editing that. Select whatever cell you want. Right now I'm in G2. You would click on the paint bucket to color the background, and then you would click on the font, the A, so that you could change the color of that font, which is where it says hello. That's the font color. So that's just something easy that you can learn, is using your ribbons, how to change your font, add some style to it if you wanted, some coloring, change the border if you want a border or not. You can change the alignment, all of this on the ribbon. And like I said, 90% of your time, you are going to be on your home tab, 90% of the time. Will you be on page layout? Yep, absolutely. Will you be on data? Yeah, it depends. You might. View? Yeah, probably. But 90% of your time, you will be on the home tab. So this is where you will learn a lot of what you need to do in Excel. So let me stop sharing, get my notes back to make sure I haven't missed anything. Move this back over here. All right, so let me check comments and see if there are any comments before I step into something else. No comment there. No comments there. All right. All right. Okay. So I want you to notice what we didn't do tonight, right? We didn't try to memorize hundreds of buttons. We didn't try to build a complicated spreadsheet. We're just learning about the ribbon and what is available on the ribbon and how it's organized, okay? So you're not guessing anymore, you're navigating. And that is one shift from guessing to navigating, is what confidence actually looks like. Now, if you want a head start before next week, I've got a free guide called Still Staying Late After Your Shift Ends, with 3 simple Excel tricks that saves nurses at least an hour of time per shift if you use them. I will drop the link in the comments, and let me go grab that right now. And 1 second. And I will drop this in the comments so you have it. There we go. There, perfect. All right. And next Monday, July 13th, we're doing the same thing, but we're going to be in Microsoft Word. It's the same reset. It's just a different application. Okay. So I want to thank you so much for spending time with me tonight. Every small skill that you learn builds confidence, and confidence opens doors you may not even have seen yet. Now, if this was helpful, I would love to invite you to join us in Beyond Bedside Nurses Leveling Up community. And if you know a fellow nurse that could use more tech confidence, feel free to invite them too. Now, this space is so much better when we learn together. So you don't have to figure this out alone. So I will drop the link to my community in the chat. And until then, I want you to keep building your confidence one skill at a time. Take care.